Everyone, Michelle Fixit here. Today we're going to be installing a bathroom light fixture. So you guys come with me and you will see how to install a bathroom light fixture. Alright, so we have a pre-existing one right here, which I had two little screws on, and I took those out so that I could paint the wall and let it just kind of hang out like that. Now what we're going to be doing is I'm going to set up a secondary light source so you guys can see what's going on, because the bathroom's not going to be very bright after I turn the light off. And so the tools that you will need is you'll need an electrical tester, because you're going to turn the power off, flip the breaker, turn the light switch off. You're going to need electrical tape. You're going to make sure that you have wire nuts or wire caps. They are typically provided in a fixture kit. So if you don't have those, look for them. They'll be plastic little pieces. You're going to check that your fixture has a ground, so either a green wire or some copper. You're going to make sure that you have a negative or neutral line that's going to be white. And you're going to make sure that you have a hot line or positive line, which is going to be black. And it's basically taking the old hardware off, making sure electrical and all that stuff is off, and then color matching the wires, wrapping it up with your electrical tape, putting it back in there, and then affixing it to the wall for whatever your situation is for your light fixture. So let me get another light source in here and then we'll get started, okay? All right, it's going to be Husky to the rescue. Does lots of cool things. All right, so I am going to set that up right here on the towel holder that I just set up. It's going to blind me, but it'll be great for you guys. Turning the power off, breaker is off, and we're going to get up here and see what we have going on. You may need a ladder depending on how tall your situation is. Setting up my messed up wooden ladder that came with the house. All right, so get up here, and I also like to use a drill. You can use a screwdriver if you like, but drill is just faster. Oof. So I've already taken off those two little holes there, so I'm going to disconnect my ground first. Itty bitty little yellow cap right there. I'm unscrewing the two screws that hold this into the wall. Nothing like general contracting screws being used to hold things into places. Oh, crucial step that I did not do. And here I am making a how-to video. Make sure that everything is not hot anymore. If it's red and it beeps, it's hot. It can shock you. It's not good. When it beeps like that, it means it's off. Disconnecting our hot lines. Disconnecting our neutral lines, and there is your old fixture. I'm going to keep these two that have wings. I prefer ones with wings. I'll use those. Someone's going to come at me in the comments. You can't reuse wire caps, and you called them wire nuts. Blah, blah, blah. Whatever. Come over here and change this out for me then. Or better yet, make your own how-to use. Alright, so this one has screw here, screw here. So we're going to take those 2 screws out so that we can get our mounting plate. There's one. There's the second one. There's the mounting plate. So the mounting plate's going to go right in here, like so. And we're going to screw screws into those. Hopefully those construction screws do not totally mess it up. And then we are going to get a copper line, or ground. We are going to get our positive line, or negative line. And I'm just tidying these up because they get a little furry looking and I didn't like that. So this is going to go down here nicely. We're going to get our screws. Or you know what, we can use some of these screws that are hanging out of my ladder. Otherwise use ones that are provided to you. They're not screws, they're bolts. They're electrical bolts. So I have one and I'll keep one here. Check and make sure that you're installing your mounting plate correctly. So I know that this needs to be pretty straight because that's how it fixes. So it needs to be level. And by the route of design for this, it should be that you can move it around and make it level. You want to hand tighten those bolts in place. I'll hand tighten this one into place. Try to. Oh, that piece is broken. That's great. They broke that. Let's see if I have a longer bolt. Ladder, ladder. It does matter. And I have a longer bolt. That's why my ladders make noise. Because they have random screws and bolts and stuff. This is also why like some people love having a bucket full of screws. Because they never know when they're gonna need it. Alright. We're gonna handy dandy drill back. Put this in forward. Make sure this is lined up like so. It looks straight. Eyeballed it. Alright, and then because I'm a cuckoo bird, I'm going to grab a level, and we're going to put a level on that to make sure that it is straight. This is going to be the easiest time to be able to move it around without breaking it. So bear with me. I'm not being courteous, I'm not pausing you. My dog ate my plastic level. So now I have this new level. Look at that, I eyeballed it. Oh, well, that was perfect until I messed with it. I eyeballed it and that's perfect. Which is pretty good because I'm on a ladder. I'm going to tighten that up all the way so it does not move or stray. Voila. Voila, c'est magnifique. And put our handy dandy drill back down. And we're going to get this wire nut and then we're going to look and see what the hardware is that came with the kit. What did you give me? And because like this is multiple wires, okay, they did provide us with bigger ones. I'm still going to get wings though, because that's multiple wires. These are small wires, but I want this to be secure. I want it to be a one and done. So I'm going to go grab 2 more wire nuts, like So I will pause you and be courteous this time. All right. Man, I hate this ladder. This is like my super shaky, annoying ladder. All right. So connect the ground. See if I can get a smaller wire nut or cap for that. You should use different sizes for your wire caps or nuts, whatever you want to call them, based off of how big the wires are. So both of these grounds are super small, so we're going to use a super small nut for that. There's a huge debate over wires and twisting and all the rest of that stuff. So the big thing is just overly tightening it, making sure it's not going to go anywhere. That's one of the reasons I like doing the ground first, because then you have some type of connectivity. Now we're going to go for our neutral. Make sure everything is super tight. It's just kind of hard to do when you're like stretching over a sink on a shaky ladder. And I apologize, you can't see. But essentially I'm trying to make sure that everything that gets in the spacing with the wires is super, super tight, which is why I prefer the wings. Because then it gives you something to tighten with, since you know that everything is super secure. Now we're going to go for the last one, which is our positive, and do the same thing. And then what I like to do is I like to test it, make sure it's operational before I tape everything up. I think this light bulb works. I guess we'll find out in a moment. Okay, so that means it works. Turn it back off again. Test it again to make sure everything is dead. And look for your electrical tape because you put it somewhere. As I rub my feet on the ladder. I'm not fluffing while doing the video. When I over tape everything, someone will complain. You're wasting electrical tape. Well, I want to make sure that everything's good. Electrical tape is cheap. The only problem is if I have to undo my stuff, I get really grumpy. And if you have a smaller roll, then you can wrap around more easily. If not, the easier route is to grab approximately how much tape you think you'll need, tape it up, and you're securing everything, because like you can have people pull stuff, you can have rodents end up in your walls. I do try to end up making it look aesthetically pleasing just because I'm special. And it's also a good way for me to know if I was the last person that had hands on something or not. You need to rinse and repeat. And someone is going to be like, that is way too much tape. Grr, 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 grr. I don't care. Electrical tape is super, super, super cheap. when you're trying to be safe. Or you want to be safe. You do what you do. Okay, so maybe I did grab way too much tape for this one. Ending up with a lot more excess than I feel like I should. Okay. The big important one is the positive one, the black one, the shocky, sparky one that the tape is getting all messed up by. This is why I like having it where once my electrical tape gets to a certain little small amount, I try to reserve it for stuff like this. But alas, I only have the big one right now. I'm going to make sure everything's tight. I'm going to test it one more time. Still works. And then you just line everything up and give it a good smishing. And you get your screws or your bolts. And typically you fight on this part because they're very small and the hole, you have 2 holes you have to go into. You don't want to lose your bolt. There's one. And then I have to dig out my other one. So I didn't have the wire nuts and stuff in here, it would be easier. There we are. Okay, that one's gonna be a little bit because I can't see it. And if I had my sleeve on my drill, it would be a lot easier. The magnetic part was helping, and now it's messing it up. Okay, okay. Let me give this side another smush. Right. And if your fixture is all put together and that's your last step, if it's not, like mine, it is not your last step. I have these cylinders that I have to put on. You're not supposed to put stuff in your mouth. Don't do it, it's bad. 2 more times. Just doesn't want to thread in there properly. All right, one more. Voilà, c'est magnifique. And unfortunately, I don't really have any staples in this house, but I can at least have 2. A warm one and a bright one. And that's it. If you guys like and subscribe, have a fantastic day. I'll see you next time. Bye!